Let's continue our exercises and examples on finding the square root of binomial surds. We answered question 1 here, so we'll continue from question 2. Let's continue from question 2. In question 2, we have to find the square root of 14 minus 4 root 6. As usual, let the square root of 14 minus 4 root 6 be root p minus root q. That means 14 minus 4 root 6 is root p minus root q all squared. So if you square this, you should get 14 minus 4 root 6. So let's do the squaring. Root p times root p minus q. Take this, multiply by second bracket. Then minus root q, take this second term, multiply by the whole second bracket. This will give us p plus q minus 2 root pq. I explained this in the first example. This is, minus root pq minus root pq minus 1 root pq minus 1 root pq will give you minus 2 root pq. So on rearranging, you get this. After doing that, we now equate p plus q minus 2 root pq to 14 minus 4 root 6, meaning this left side has a rational part and an irrational part. On the right hand side too, there's a rational part and an irrational part. So this rational part here is equal to the rational part here. Also, this irrational part minus 2 root pq is also equal to the irrational part on the right hand side. So we equate both. P plus q is 14 and minus 2 root pq is also what? Minus 4 root 6. So on simplifying, this one is simplified already. So this is our equation 1. But on simplifying this second part, minus we divide minus. 2 here 1, 2 in 4, 2. So we get root pq is 2 root 6. If you square both sides, you square root pq. You also square 2 root 6. For 2 root 6, 2 times 2 is 4. Root 6 times root 6 is 6. So 4 times 6 gives 24. Here, this square root sign will be taken out by the power outside the bracket here. So I have pq is 24. That's my equation 2. I'll put the two together. P plus q is 14. pq is 24. Equation 1. Equation what? 2. So from equation 1, p plus q is 14. If I want to make p subject to the formula, p will become 14 minus q. So if I bring plus q to the right hand side, it will become minus q. So p is 14 minus q. In the second equation, pq is 24. So anywhere I see p, I'll write 14 minus q for it. So I write p, this is pq is equal to what? 24. So on expansion, I'll get this. 14q, 14 times q, 14q, minus q times q minus q squared is equal to what? 24. So that's one step there. Then if I rearrange, I'll get minus q squared plus 14q minus 24 is equal to 0. I'm supposed to, bring 24 to the left side here. This is how I got minus 24. I took this 24 and brought it here. So it became 14q minus q squared minus 24 is equal to 0 will be left on this side. So on rearranging, minus q squared, I want it to appear first, plus 14q in the middle, minus 24 is equal to 0. So if I divide each term by minus 1, the equation will still be correct, but it will look simpler. So minus q squared divided by minus 1 will give me plus q squared. Also, plus 14q divided by minus 1 will give me minus 14q. Minus 24 divided by minus 1 is what? Plus 24. So q squared minus 14q is equal to plus 24. Q squared minus 14q plus 24 plus 24 is equal to 0. Q squared is the same thing as 1q squared. So 1q squared minus 14q plus 24 is what? 0. Now the factors 1 times 24, 1 times plus 24 plus 1 times plus 1 times plus 24 will give me plus 24. So I need to find factors. I need to find factors that are such that when added, I'll get the middle term. When added, I'll get the middle term minus 14. But when multiplied, I'll get the value of 1 times plus 24 plus 24. So the two factors are minus 2 and minus 12. Minus 2 added to minus 12 is minus 2 plus minus 12. And it will give me minus 2 minus 12, which is minus 14. Then minus 2 times minus 12 will give me plus 24. So I'll write my middle term instead of minus 14q. On my next step, I'll write q squared minus 2q minus 12q plus 24 is 0. That will factorize into this. And I have q is 12, or q is what? 2. So from p is 14 minus q. When q is 12, p will be 2. Also from p is 14 minus q. When what? When q is 2, p is 12. So the square root of this surd is root 2 minus root 12, and root 12 minus root 2. On simplifying, root 12 will break down into 2 root 3. So the square root is root 2 minus 2 root 3 and 2 root 3 minus root 2. Number 10a. There are more questions in number 10. Number 10a here says we should find the square root of 12 plus 2 root 35. It's the same thing. Let the square root be root p plus root q. So root p plus root q all squared is 12 plus 2 root 35. So on expanding, you get this. Equate it to 12 plus 2 root 35. Then equate rational side to equate rational part to rational part and irrational part to what? Irrational part. That gives you 2 root pq is 2 root 35. P plus q is what? 12. Equation 1. Then from here we get our equation 2. So square both sides, divide both sides by 2, you get this. Then square both sides. This will remove this. Are you getting what I'm saying? Here the 2 will take out the root sign. Then here too, the 2 will take out the root sign. So you have pq is 35. After getting pq is 35, which is your second equation, put the 2 together. Put the 2 together. Here, from equation 1, make q subject of the formula. Q is 12 minus p. So in equation 2, put q. Equation 2 is pq is equal to 35. So p times q. Since my q is now 12 minus p, pq is equal to what? 35. Can you see that? pq is equal to 35. So on expanding, I'll get this. I'll bring 35 to the left. It will become minus 35 is equal to 0. So this gives me minus p squared plus 12p minus 35 is 0. So I'll divide throughout by minus 1 to get this. Then what are the factors? This is plus 1 pq. Sorry, p squared. This is the same thing as plus 1 p squared. So if I multiply plus 1 by plus 35, I'll get what? Plus 35. What are the factors that multiply to give plus 35 and add to give minus 12? Those factors are minus 5 and minus 7. So I'll split minus 12p into minus 5p minus 7p. So that factorizes into this. And my p is 5 or 7. So when p is 5, q is 7. When p is 7, q is 5. I'm sorry. Let me correct this. It should be q. So My square roots are root 5 plus root 7 and root 7 plus root 5, or root 5 plus root 7 twice. Question B is the same thing. I don't think I need to repeat myself too much on B. Question B is the same thing. 30 plus 12 root 6. Let the square root be root A plus root B. Let the square root be root A plus root B. Expand. Get this expression. Equate rational side to rational. Equate rational part to rational part. Irrational part to irrational part. As usual, divide both sides by 2. Then do this for the irrational part. You can divide both sides by 2. So you get 6 root 6. Expand it and you get this. So 2 in 12, 6. 2 here, 1. Root AB is this. If you square 6 root 6, you get 6 times 6, 36. Root 6 times root 6, you know how we do that. Root 6, let me quickly do it somewhere here. Root 6 times root 6 is the same thing as root 6 times 6, which is the same thing as root 36, which will give you what? 6. So take note of that. Very important. So 6 times 6, 36. Root 6 times root 6, 6. That gives you what? 216. So AB is 216. You solve the two equations simultaneously and you get, B is what? 12 or 18. So look at this equation very well before I move to the next page. You get B is 12 or 18. So when B is 12, A is what? 13 minus B. That's A is 18. And when B is 18, A is what? 13 minus B. So 13 minus 18 is 12. So the square root of our binomial surd are what? 2 root 3, root 12 plus root 18, and root 12 plus root 18. Root 12 plus root 18 and root 18 plus root 12. Root 18 will simplify into 2 root 3. I hope you remember that. From root 18 is root 9 times 2. Root 9 times root 2. 3 root 2. So root 18 will simplify into what? Into 2 root 3. And your square root are 2 root 3 plus 3 root 2 and 3 root 2 plus 2 root 3. Root 12 will also simplify into, root 12 will simplify into 2 root 3. Root 18 will simplify into 3 root 2. Take note of that. Question C is the same thing as the previous negative one. So you take note of these steps. These are all easy. Root A minus root B, square it. You get A minus 2 root AB plus B. Then put sides that are similar together. What do you get? You get A plus B is 8. Then minus 2 root AB is minus 2 root 15. So this gives you this. Minus 2 minus 2. Divide both sides by minus 2. Each of these minus 2 will disappear and you have this left. Is that clear? So on squaring, the square will remove the root. Here, the square will remove the root. You solve your simultaneous equation to get your A and B. A and B are 3 and 5. So the square roots are root 3 minus root 5 twice. In D, D is the same thing as C. 31 minus 4 root 21. Let the square root be root A minus root B. So root A minus root B squared will give you 31 minus 4 root 21. So that tells you that what? On squaring, you get A minus 2 root AB plus B is equal to 31 minus 4 root 21. So rearranging will give you A plus B on this side bring the simple letters together. Bring a and plus b together. A plus b minus 2 root ab. Move that forward a bit, is equal to 31 minus 4 root 21. So rational part is equal to rational part. A plus b is equal to 31. Also, irrational part is equal to irrational part. So minus 2 root ab is minus 4 root 21. Divide both sides by minus 2. This one is straightforward, simple, so you leave it like that. That's your equation 1. Then divide both sides here. This is your equation 1, excuse me. Divide both sides here by minus 2. This minus 2 will disappear. You have root ab left. Divide this side 2 by minus 2. Minus 4 divided by minus 2 will give you 2. So you get root ab is what? 2 root 21. On squaring both sides, 2 times 2, 4. Root 21 times root 21, 21. 4 times 21, 84. You now solve the equation simultaneously like we did previous ones. The way we did the previous ones, you get 3 and 28 as your answers, and that gives you your square roots as root 3 minus root 28 and root 28 minus root 3. Those are the answers here. Root 3 minus root 28. The square roots are root 3 minus root 28 and root 28 minus root 3. So you can simplify root 28 like this into its basic form to 2 root 7. So your square roots are root 3 minus 2 root 7 and 2 root 7 minus root 3. So let me give a classwork. Let me give a classwork on that. Let me give a class exercise on that question. Exercise. We are going to form the questions together. Exercise. Find the square root. Find the square root of each of the following sorts. So let's form the questions together. Let's take I'm going to show you some of the things we do behind your back here. So let's form one with root 8 minus root 2. If I square root 8 minus root 2, what am I going to get? Root 8 times root 8 will give me 8 minus root 16 minus root 16 minus root 16 plus 2. That's 8 plus 2, 10. 10 minus root 16. 10, okay. This is not a good one. Let's make this 3. Let's make this 3. Root 3. So root 8 times root 3. Root 8 times root 8, 8. Root 8 times root 3, root 24. Minus root 24 plus what? 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. So this is 11 minus what? 11 minus, even the first one was okay. This is 11 minus 2 root 24. That will simplify into 11 minus 4 root 6. So find the square root of 11 minus 4 root 6. I hope you get that. Your answer is going to be root 8 minus root 3 and root 3 minus root 8. That's what your answer should be. So giving you the answers to the classwork already. Let's form one with root 8 minus root 2. The one I was using before was okay. Root 8 times root 8 will give me 8. Root 8 times minus root 2 minus root 16. Minus root 2 times root 8 minus root 16 is what? Plus what? Plus 2. This will give me 10 minus, okay. I thought it was going to give me minus root 32, but it won't. Let's do one with root 3 plus root 3 plus root 7. So root 3 times root 3, 3. Root 3 times root 7, root 21, then 7. So this is 10 plus 2 root 21. So let's make our second question. 10 plus 2 root 21. So your answer should be, this is just a trick. Your answer should be, for this question 2, your answer should be what? Root 3 plus root 7 and root 7 plus root 3. So let's form the third question. Number 3. Let's just pick anyone. Let's just pick anyone. Root 5 minus root 11. Root 5 times root 5, that's 5. Minus root 55 minus root 55 plus 11. So 5 plus 11, 16 minus 2 root 55. So your third question is 16 minus 2 root 55. Your answer should be root 5 minus root 11 or root 5 or root 11 minus root 5. So let's form another one with root 3 minus root 6. Root 3 times root 3 will give us 3. Root 3 times minus root 6 will give us minus root 18 minus root 18 minus root 18 minus root 18 plus 6. So that means 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 minus 2 root 18. What will that give you? Root 18 is 3 root 2. So 3 times 2. That's 9. 9 minus 2 root 18. That's 9 minus 2 times 3 root 2. So that's what? 9 minus 6 root 2. So find the square root of 9 minus 6 root 2. You can see the trick here now. So the fifth one here, let us square root 2 plus root 10. Root 2 times root 2 will give us 2. Root 2 times root 10 will give us root 20. In the middle, there's another root 20 plus 10. So that's 12 plus 2 root 20. Is that clear? Let's now simplify. Root 20, 12 plus 2 root 20. That's 12 plus 2 times root 4 times root 5. 2 times 2, 4. So that's 12 plus 4 root 5. So find the square root of 12 plus 4 root 5. So you know your answers already because we formed the questions together. So do this as your exercise for this topic.